I've covered a ton of different ways to play Neo Geo games, original hardware, the C boxes from China, recently the Orthros MCS from France. I thought this thing was pretty neat. A couple little things that I don't really like about it, but overall it's not too bad. I don't like the power port, the way that works, but whatever, right? So today, straight off of the boat from China, obviously they made sure to let everybody know, made in China, that we got another Neo Geo. This one I was intrigued by because it looks like a Neo Geo AES. So let's check this thing out, see what to do, tear it down, test it, all that good stuff. So I got this from Timeharvest. I've had mixed results, honestly, with their Neo Geo systems in the past. Mostly fine, but maybe one or two situations where I think the last one I got from them was kind of messed up. I think it might have just been a defective system. But, you know, if you buy stuff off of AliExpress, I think they've gotten better about handling refunds and, you know, not as described. I did not know this was going to come with a bunch of cables, but it looks like we've got some component cables, composite, an S video. I did not know this was going to come with all that. So this unit here is actually reasonably priced, in my opinion, cheaper than a lot of the other systems they have listed on AliExpress or Timeharvest. And this is a complete unit ready to play, whereas the Orthros was an expensive kit that you have to add your own board to. And some people were not happy with the price on this, so I just want to look at another option. But remember, you can play Neo Geo however the hell you want. Emulation is fine. I think Neo Geo emulation works great. There's a power supply. This thing feels really light. 12 volt, 8 amps. Yeah, this is not a quality power supply, I'd imagine. Hopefully it works. May have to get a better one, but all right. And then here is the actual system itself. Man, made in China, they gotta let you know. So they sell this in two different configurations, or not really configurations, but options. A solid black, more reminiscent of the AES console, and then this like translucent, clearish smoke, which is, I thought looked cool, so I went for it. There we go, Neo Geo Max 330 Mega Pro Gear Spec multi-video system, because this is a MVS system that just looks like the home console. On the back, we've got our component, our AV, S video, RGB out, and our 12 volt in. There we go. We're gonna open this thing up and take a look. But so far it looks pretty nice in my opinion. I don't know about this weird location of that, but I guess to, you know, make it not move around. But it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I like that we have all these options back here. This is a Neo Geo port, so it would use like original AES port cables. I do have, I picked this up recently. This Sega Saturn 2X line doubler that can be used for Neo Geo, Genesis, Saturn. It's supposed to be, you know, an HDMI option that has a ton of different options that you can go through. 2X with no smoothing for RGB, smoothing, no smoothing, pass-through mode, composite, all sorts of options. And then you can like tweak it through the firmware. I don't know if this is any good, but I figured I'll try it out. But there we go. Let's readjust, open this thing up, and we'll test like all the different video options, kind of see what it looks like. Let's do it. Okay, so I got the screws out from this thing. It was just 4 screws underneath the feet, ready to take the shell off. I'm not sponsored by these guys, but just got to recommend this like electronic repair kit. It's got tons of different bits, security bits, anything you could think of. They're all there. This thing was like a little over 20 bucks on Amazon. Link in the description if you're interested, but check it out. I've been using this a lot lately. But let's get into this. So took those screws out. The top just comes off, but you do have to unplug this, the reset button from right there. That's about it. And then looking at the actual board here, this is freaking clean. The MV1B board, so it's pancaked, it's flattened out instead of the original orientation, which is really cool. I'm not gonna take it apart further as there is a ribbon cable that is soldered underneath this part to the underside of this board. And I really don't wanna mess that up, but I did notice like the date on this part of the board, 1998, 6/17. On this one, 1996, 1/19. So I don't know if Timeharvest is like swapping component, like, you know, the boards with these MV1Bs, finding good ones, getting rid of bad ones, whatever the heck they're doing. But yeah, the dates don't match, so I don't know if these two pieces originally went together, but they look very clean. I'm not finding any like corrosion or anything weird in there. They did replace the Neo buff. It's pretty big chip there. Normally the replacements I've seen are pretty small, but they replaced that. They do have Unibios installed here. I believe it's 4.0, even though their listing always says 3.3, but it should be 4.0 on here. But there you go. This whole like board that goes around is, you know, pretty much the super gun, giving you USB for controllers, the original DB15 port for original controllers. But that's cool that you got USB as well. You could use variety of controllers here, and then your, you know, output. So it's kind of nice and clean looking setup here. Not seeing anything immediately jumping out at me that like says this is crappily done or anything. It looks clean. Not really seeing a mess of anything in there. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm gonna get this thing reassembled real quick, and then we're gonna test it out. So let's take a look at a clip of each of the different video options that I tested today. So we got those component, composite, and S-video cables that came with the system. I wanted to test all those out. Can't vouch for the quality of these cables, but they do look okay. Wasn't getting any kind of weird distortion in video. Audio was fine. But with the video, I was noticing things appeared quite a bit darker than I'm used to with a system like this, with these kind of games. So you may have to, you know, change some settings on your TV. Maybe it's just the cables that it came with. I'm not sure. But I also checked out that Bitfunks adapter that I mentioned earlier, showed earlier. I got it off of Amazon for like 40 bucks. This thing was the same thing. It was dark. So then I started wondering what's going on here. But then I remember with that Bitfunks adapter, you can dial in video settings if you plug it into your PC. It has firmware updates and all that. So I started messing with that, and I'm pretty confident I'll find a setting that I like, but it's nice that you can do that with that cable. Now, another adapter that I quickly tested here, and I didn't mention it earlier, and it's actually going to wind up being my preferred way to use this system, was the Rad2X adapter. I know those things are not currently in stock, but yeah, the Rad2X here, everything looked good. Like video quality wise, like everything looked sharp and decent enough to me. You know, composite obviously is going to be a bit fuzzier than the other options, but the Rad2X, it was brighter, clear, everything was fine. So I think that's going to be what I use with this system. But my overall thoughts of this thing, this new Timeharvest Neo Geo, is it's got to be my favorite, or one of my top favorites, as far as one of these little Neo Geo consoles out of China or anywhere else. Consoleized MVS, actual real hardware. I love the look of it. My only minor gripe is the controller ports for the DB15, kind of shallow. I wish they would have went in deeper, but I think that's a similar issue with a lot of the Timeharvest Neo Geo systems, is that it's just too shallow. I mean, it's not too shallow to where it doesn't work. It's just kind of like you wish it would go in a little snugger as far as the controller ports, right? So there's that. I'm digging this thing. I'm going to be using it quite often. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you guys. Bye.